if your GForce one is not feeding, it's likely related to this carrier latch, which I'm going to show you how to replace. Okay, so this is a new one. The carrier latch is essentially this bolt release button is attached to. That allows the shell to drop out of the magazine tube so that the bolt can pick it up and feed it forward. So I'm going to show you how to swap that part out. Essentially what you're going to get in this kit is a new carrier latch. I'm going to send you an extra roll pin just in case. There's one already in the gun. 2 slave pins. I'll show you how to use those. Just an extra screw for the button here. I've got this long spring rod punch to punch out the old pin that's in here. The pin can be reused. And then I got a roll pin punch. That's to finish it when we put the replacement back in. That's to finish the roll pin. And then I'll send you one of these. This is just to help you get the trigger pin out. So sometimes you got to hammer it out. Sometimes you can just push it out. Start with, you got to take the magazine tube off, the magazine cap off, sorry. Yeah. Take the fore end off. Here, don't lose your plug. We're going to go ahead and take the charging handle out. That just comes right out of the bolt. Set that over here, these other parts. Take the bolt out. Okay. Then what we got to do is take the trigger out, trigger group. Like I said, you can usually just take this and push it, and it'll pop right out. Put the pin right there. Then we're going to push the carrier latch bolt release button and pull that trigger out. Takes a little bit of force, but not too much. Set that with those parts. Okay, one of the parts you're going to need is going to be a number 2 Allen key. Most of us have an Allen key or Allen keys on hand, so that's going to be something that you're going to need. Just a metric number 2 Allen key to remove this screw on the bolt release button. So we'll go ahead and thread that off. If it spins like that, that's not a big deal. Okay, set that over here with our other parts. All right, so essentially all we have left in here is the carrier latch, and we got to get this pin out. So what we're going to do is take this long spring rod here. We're going to punch it. So there's actually this hole here. We want the pin to come out this way. There's a hole on the top. You should be able to see that. And what we want to do is take this rod and slide it down into that hole. Okay? Wiggle it till you get it just in there. So it should just sit like that. It is going to rest against the receiver, but that's okay. So then take, you can use a carpenter's hammer, use a gunsmith's hammer. It's just a brass piece with a piece of Delrin plastic on the other side so it doesn't mar. You're going to want to use the metal part. Essentially, punch that pin. You can see it start to come out here. Okay, there's the pin. Set that pin over here. Pull this out. And then the carrier latch, the bad one, comes out. There's a spring on the carrier latch. You want to hang on to that. So, put that with these parts here. And this is essentially garbage. So throw that away. Get another one here. These two go on the trash. Okay. All right. New carrier latch. I'm going to put the spring on this little nub, that little piece there. I take the spring and pop it on there, a little bit of force, it should sit just like that. Okay, then there's this hole here. You're going to want to align that with the hole where this pin came out. All right, and then have your slave pin ready. Set that right there. Okay, So essentially what we're going to do is we're going to put this thing back in. We're going to push this up, back into place. There's a little slot on the back side until you get that button protruding back through that hole. Okay, the spring's going to fight you on that, but that's okay. Push it up. Take the slave pin from the bottom, okay, or the top, doesn't matter, and get those holes lined up. Okay, and just like that, it's temporarily installed with that slave pin holding it in place. All right, then you can take the roll pin that we sent you, or you can use the one that we punched out, one or the other. Just have a spare, just in case you lose it, okay? Lay it on its back like this. Take that roll pin, and you're gonna wanna reinstall that roll pin into this slot right there. See how it's just kind of hanging there? I was able to kind of jam it in. All right, when you're hammering this thing in, don't hammer it. It's just light taps until you get it down to where it's almost just above the edge of the receiver. So just nice light taps. Okay, cool. So we're almost there. Now we need the roll pin punch here. And there's a little, I don't know if you can see that. There's a little bit of a nub at the top of that. That's going to go inside the roll pin hole, okay? And you're just going to tap this in just like you were until that pin, this one's actually going to bottom out on there. So what happens when that stops going through, and again, light taps, this thing is starting to rotate out, and what you want to do is just push it back in. Just pop it back in. That's just the carrier latch was starting to tilt outward towards the middle of the receiver. You just pop it back in. It'll click. Again, just light taps until you get that. And finish it. And you don't need to go all the way through, because if you go too far, the bolt won't function. The pin will block it. You just want to go just below flush. Okay? Just like that. That pin is now reinstalled. New carrier latch is in. Okay, so we're going to take carrier latch or bolt release button. And I'm going to go ahead and install that. So, number 2mm Allen key. Screw that back in. You don't need to crank it down, just snug is good. Yeah, that's probably good. All right. Okay, we'll go ahead and put the trigger back in. When you're installing the trigger, push that down. You see how that released it? I'm pushing here, release this. And that makes it easier for you to install and take out the trigger group. Put the trigger pin back in, line up those holes. Use your hammer, like even a house carpenter's hammer is fine. Just nice taps until you get it finished. And if you don't have this Delmer inside, that's okay. You can use the plastic punch to just push it back down in there. The back of the punch. All right, so that's installed. Put the bolt in, put your charging handle back in. Okay. Don't forget, put your plug in. Obviously you have your barrels, put that on. Fore end goes on. Magazine cap. All right, let's check. Let's see if it works. Okay, I'm going to push this button in and push the carrier latch or bolt release button down. It should go back and forth, just like that. And that tells you got good continuity, and that means it's going to work. That's it. Pretty easy.